Now we have Gnanasambandham sir, who is speaking on human-centered design. Sir, hope we are audible.
Yes, Mega, I can hear you. Hope
Yes,
you can
sir.
hear me
Over
well.
to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, Venkat and Satish and Sneka. Let me share my screen. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, visible.
Everybody? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hi. Good evening, all. Thanks for joining the session and extending for the last 2 days and in the learning journey. Conducting by SS Agile Gurus. So this is Gnanasambandham A. I have overall 22 years experience. So I'm very much like to share to the pool of Agile coaches and the learning people like about the human-centered design and some few points about understanding the basics, right? Okay, so nowadays, like we are focusing on many of the industries, organizations, they are focusing on their revenues instead of focusing on what needs to be really served to the people. They're forgetting the actual purpose and they're changing their focus to something else. But when we really see, we are seeing lots of entrepreneurs are very successful these days. They know inside and out of their products, right? They know the market gaps in society, what kind of services required or platforms or products, right? What is being a gap is available in the market and they're trying to provide some solution. Either they are creating something that didn't already exist, or they basically find a problem, try to provide a solution, and they become emergence entrepreneur, right? And also they significantly improve existing product, right? We will down the line, we will see like some more examples for all these cases, like how people faced a problem with the product they used and they try to improve that and they become a successful entrepreneur in the market, right? So the main agenda that I want to focus here is we make sure we are serving the best. The mindset should be serving the best to people instead of focusing on the revenue and just numbers, right? The profit. Okay. So this is an example of Ferruccio Lamborghini. We all know where he was basically into tractor manufacturing and he faced some issue with, the Ferrari, and he even gave his best recommendation to Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari basically told like, this is not your, cup of cake, like you better focus on tractor. So he himself involved, like, the vision in him, and he want to bring a better car, a sports car to people. And he found lots of issues with the current model available with Ferrari. So he himself introduced, he worked on and improved the product, and he fixed all the issues that he faced with Ferrari, and he come up with a brand called Lamborghini, right? Okay, what do you learn from this Lamborghini story? Do you have any comment, team?
Current problems, right? So what are the current problems were there? He converted those problems into the opportunity.
Exactly. So his thought process is to provide a best sports car to people, right? He didn't even think, okay, this is an opportunity I want to step in, but he want to provide a best solution to a problem, right? So that is where he emerged as an number one in this cadre of cars.
From Ferrari perspective, it is like neglecting user feedback, which is valid, and then thereby creating a competitor.
Okay, and the point I want to make here is human-centric design providing a best solution is one part, where the design thinking, he is already having the knowledge about the mechanical industry. He was manufacturing tractors in and out of it, utilizing the strength of his design thinking knowledge and applying for the benefit of people, right? The human-centered design that brings this, we are getting this awesome Lamborghini car with the best features in the market, right? Okay, let us see some more examples as we have less time. And sorry, I can see the top, so that's why I'm just shrinking to this. So they create something that didn't already exist. That means they basically find a problem and emerge as an entrepreneur. So Bhavish Agarwal, who introduced Ola cabs, he faced a bad experience in the middle of the forest where he was demanded by the car driver, instead of what was initially committed, the car driver was demanding more. Actually, he stepped down and walked to his place. That was a very bad experience. And he was actually running a travels. He is offering tour packages where one of the customer, he basically asked, can you help me to travel from this location to another location? So he already want to streamline the process of the travel business where he faced a very bad experience earlier, and he sees an opportunity coming for taking people from one location to another location. So by seeing this threat and his experience in the industry, plus he's seeing an opportunity, right? So he comes up with this Ola cabs. Similarly, like Uber or even delivering food to people on Swiggy or Zomato, right? Where people, they just want to stay in home and they want the food in a very shorter period of time, where all these entrepreneurs, they try to serve the people better, streamline the process very well, as even how Nancy Sharma took, like, implementing the flow and improve, so that at the earliest, it will reach out to the customer as per customer expectation. So there they become the successful entrepreneur in the market. Again, I'm repeating, the focus is on saving the customer better instead of counting on the profits or numbers, right? Hope everybody agrees on that. If you really see the most successful people, they all started with saving the people better instead of simply focusing on the profit or revenue margins. Okay. So I just want to bring another awesome example from President APJ Abdul Kalam, who works with his colleagues and developed a lightweight prosthetic material. He sees before 20 years, the people with disability, where they were carrying a heavyweight metals in their legs, where he's seeing, he had knowledge about these space age carbon fiber. Earlier days, those being used only for high-end cars, for a costly cars, where he manufactured that and he designed and for the benefit of people who can't able to walk, right? So now this prosthetic material is very easy to carry. It is very durable, so that like people are very happy, and he provided for a best price, right? So it is applying his scientific knowledge for the benefit of the mankind. So that is where the real service begins. Like that is where that approach and the mindset is where we have to focus for this human-centered design, right? We'll see some more example. We all know about the success story of Apple, where they come up with the best designs, even though they came late, but more innovative designs. They purely have more innovation as well as best service to the customer. That means instead of even just getting information from the customer what they want, we should be in a position to educate the customer what is the best way they can enjoy their product. So that is where, like, completely in customer shoes, and they go even above and beyond to take care of their customers, right? Fine. Now let us see, like, deep dive into this human-centered design. What is the Tim Brown, the CEO of IDEO, says? A human-centered approach innovation that draws from designer toolkit to integrate the need of the people, basically to serve the people and the possibilities of a technology available and the requirements for business success. Again, at the end of the day, like, how we can implement these thought process for the benefit of business success is where like most of these people telling. But even any project or product you are focusing on, you are working on, if you can focus on saving your customer or their end customer better instead of just focusing on a successful product, right? So the person who really focus on saving them in a better way, that really brings a much better success than people just focusing on to produce some successful product in the market, right? Okay. This human-centered design basically in the cycle of inspiration, ideation, and implementation. So it basically in a diverge and a converge cycle where we just inspired by some thoughts, some ideas, and gather the data, and again we converge and try to find solution, and again we launch it in the market in a different name. So how organizations do, they will produce a product instead of releasing in the actual name, they just release it in some dummy name. Even 20 years before, 25 years before, people will come to our home and they ask, sir, can you try this powder for washing clothes? Okay, we will come and collect the data after 10 days. So we try that product and they say, okay, it removed all the dirt as well as it is fading the colors of the clothes also. So they are getting the market research data and see, okay, it is impacting the color of the clothes. Then they will reduce the chemical used in the powder, and again they launch it in the market and they do the cycle to get a better result. So that is how we can see these Surf Excel or Ariel, they are emerged as a successful product in the market. So these human-centered design coming up with this diverge, collecting the data, doing the market research, and again converge, focus, and coming up with the solution. And we ideate it and we go for this implementation. All right. Any questions on this from anyone? So let us see one by one that inspiration, ideation, and implementation phase. So it is focusing on how do I stay human-centered, how I can serve them better, what kind of problems they are facing in that particular type of products already, right? And what kind of customer you want to serve, right? Including what environment, what cultural background they are, everything we will research, in the inspiration phase, where we try to ideate what we have learned, what is the output and what is the outcome, how to turn that insights into tangible ideas, and organize lots of learning and identify the most interesting opportunities to bring a best product to the customer. And then we go for this implementation, right? So even in implementation, we have a cycle where we test multiple times, go for an iterative mode and see like how well our product reaching the market. It's just not the customer feedback alone, it is about the whole market feedback also, right? Just we launch it as a pilot, as I told the Surf Excel or Ariel example, and refine and keep iterating and prototyping and finally come up with a refined product, right? Fine. So what are the advantages of human-centered design? So a human-centered design process, basically, it enables a abductive learning, produces maximum learning. It helps us to deep dive into the customer perspective and get things done, right? So anything being introduced for some special purpose, again, it all going for a commercial purpose. People use this mentality of saving. Okay, why not we can use this to learn the customer journey better, understand the customer behavior, customer psychology better, right? And to produce a product to be successful in the market, right? And how, like as we already saw, like use an inspiration, ideation, and implementation framework, right? And we need to use the diverse teams. So when we try for something without any guilt or any of our trials or our mindset. The product is not coming in the way as we expect. Without any guilt, we should be in a position to get ideas from different teams, their perspectives, make use of the strength of all the people, the teams involved to bring a better product to the market, right? And we should have a very open environment and a transparent culture. And how? Be deliberately about creating and keeping the space and culture open by embracing the psychological safety. So we make sure we give equal importance to everybody, every team, so that we will get a better idea will be emerged. We have to support that. We have to foster the open culture and support the team. So the another a point from Joey Coleman, where he says every single interaction, the most minute, even a 1 minute of interaction for you with your customer is an opportunity for you to create something remarkable. Either you get a good feedback or a bad feedback, or what customer thinks, what he feels, or even you can pitch in with a better way to explain your product to the customer, right? So here, when we talk about human-centered design, we can't avoid speaking about the design thinking process, because human-centered design, it completely focusing on the customer perspective, customer mindset, what customer sees, what he feels, what he actually wants, or what kind of problems already exist. At the same time, we have to utilize the strength of tools, knowledges, the thinkings that is offered by the design thinking. It is basically a recurring process that helps understand the user better, challenge the mainstream assumptions. So there are lots of products, similar products in the market. This design thinking helps to deep dive, put our thought process in a better way to challenge the existing products or successful products in the market, to think in a different way and look at the problems from a different angle to identify alternative solutions, right? Also, design thinking provides a solution-based approach to solving problems and resolves around developing an understanding of people better. So it is design thinking and human-centered design will go hand in hand, right? So it helps to identify the underlying problems by following the design thinking principles, and as well as reframing it in a human-centered way. And we ideate, strategize, iterate, test, and then release it to market. So the the tool that offered by the design thinking is empathy, wearing the customer shoes, defining the problems better, ideate the solution, come up with a prototype, test, do a multiple level of iteration to see from a different perspective. Maybe some product which works successful in United States may not be successful in India because of the cultural difference also. So even based on each location, even within United States, the climatic condition of California is different. The climatic condition of Minnesota is different. So any textile products or jackets we prepare, we have to consider how comfortable they are. We have to consider the environmental factors, everything. Then we go for designing and delivering the product, right? Okay. So it is kind of, we have to implement considering the customer journey mapping, right? So what kind of customer they are? Are we dealing with less than 18 years old, or a teenager, or even a child, or someone who is going to office, or an age-old person, or whether it is a man or woman we are focusing on. So all the data, like data from different way of, like when we do the iteration, we do the market research, collect the data, and see like whether our product, how suitable for the customer we are dealing with, right? So similarly here, this design thinking helps like empathetically define and rigorously measure the customer value delivered. So as I told you earlier, company works ethically to save the society, mankind, better. They really outplay the companies. They just focus on just numbers and profits. That is my, the strong feeling, and I want you to take away as a learning from this, where whenever you are dealing with any projects or products, you make sure like we are saving their customer and their end customer much better by bringing a better design to the product, right? So business success is directly proportional to the customer value that we are delivering. So that attracts basically more customers, that bring a better brand value in the market, as well as those who save, basically they lead the market. Those who adopt, they will survive in the market. Else, obviously, any business, those who not adopting or those who really not saving the society, they will go out of business, right? So the final focus is, are we really serving the need of the customer, that we take it as a personas, right? Fine. So this is just a pictorial representation of how the design thinking and with human-centered design together, how they help for a social enterprise thinking. So we have the design thinking cycle as well as the inspiration, ideation, implementation phase of human-centered design with the divergent and converge cycle, right? So together both that really helps utilizing the tools provided by the design thinking and a human-centered approach, to come up with the converge and a diverge cycle to get the best product to the market. So the same, just I gave it for your reference, which we already discussed. So how any differentiation between the design thinking or a human-centered design? Many people have this problem where design thinking look at the bigger picture, right, end to end, and it focus on innovation and creating products or services that solve problem. Whereas human-centered design, okay, this is a product, how effectively it helps for this age of customer or this kind of customer. Is he a doctor? They are going to use it in the hospital, or they are lawyers, or is it going to be used in an IT environment? So those details, it will go through the persona of the character, that the particular type of personas we chose, go deep dive into it, go with that converge and diverge cycle, the usability of the product and the user experience, and improve. So this is about the process and tools, the design thinking, whereas human-centered design is a mindset. And it is basically an iterative 5-step process from empathy to iterate and test. Whereas a mindset and tool to be applied alongside with design thinking, that creates a long-term positive impact for the users, right? So basically, we are utilizing the strength of design thinking and a human-centered design that solve the utilizing the strength of both design thinking and a human-centered design to produce a best product and solving the real-world problem for mankind, right? Even before 20 years, I was just copying and pasting some objective from some resume to my resume, and my cousin, who is architect now, he told, write your own objective, come up with your own objective. So I just wrote it like this: to lead computer field by implementing my innovative ideas, which will be helpful for mankind for centuries. I think somehow, this is how the mindset we should have, to save to the society, to bring a new solution to the existing problems in a long term that really saves the people in the society, right? Agreed, team? Okay, so we'll quickly pass through what are all the values. So what are the takeaways for this human-centered design? Value customer service, saving to the customer in terms of a service or a product, more than just focusing on the business revenue. And focus on the customer centered design with the help of design thinking, as well as have a foundational understanding of the human centered design concepts and strategies, including the rapid prototyping and iterative problem solving. So it is not a one-time process. Definitely, we have to put lots of learning and an iterative way of learning in the market based on the culture of people. Even any product you are trying to introduce, even in India, something that works in South India may not work in North India or a different East India or somewhere, right? So everywhere we make sure we are releasing the product and doing a proper market research, doing a iterative problem solving mechanism, and coming up with a prototype and see like how it really serves the purpose of the requirement of the customer, right? So basically we go with the personas and user experience journeys to help generate a prototype, right? What kind of customer they are, or if it is a customer onboarding in the banking sector, how to reach the customer. Once the customer interested in the product, what is the next step, and immediately move on, improving the flow, right? Getting their details, even any PAN card or any details to immediately enroll, proceed for checking the background, getting the approval, and how to get it shortly and satisfy the customer. That is very much important. We can do with the help of this personas and user experience journey. And while doing the prototyping, we make sure the end user is actively involved in the process, because without them, we really don't know what is the mindset of people, each and every different culture also, right? What they think, right? Even we saw like the failure of Tata Nano, where car being considered as a luxury segment, where when Tata Nano being introduced with 1 lakh, people felt like, no, this is not a costly one. They're attaching the transport with the pride, right? If I'm holding car, that is a pride, so I don't want to go for something very cheaper. So that Tata Nano fails, and they read the market why it fails, and they improved and they come up with new segment of cars that we all know, right? And again, what are all the typical phases of human-centered design with design thinking, right? Okay. Right. So other than these, I have other than the human-centered design, I want to just touch base on this, understanding the core basics. Nowadays, lots of different flavors of certifications are available in the market. Maybe it is from Europe or Japanese or US, but we forget to understand the basics. Even in my first session, when I'm taking the Safe Agilist, the main thing I used to tell is maturity is not when we start speaking big things. I am a Safe certified, I know this framework, like that. It is when start understanding small things, including each and every nuts and bolts of Safe, or understanding about the behavior of people in such a safe environment. Those things we really need to focus. Even this HCD, human-centered design, focusing on providing better service to mankind instead of just revenue. So if you see olden days, many business they established till now because they are bringing the value and consistently providing the best service to the customer, to the people. That is how they are surviving for all these years, right? That we forget. We are forgetting such basics, and we are just focusing on just the profit and numbers and going for a tactical success. Instead, we provide a best solution to the customer, provide a best service to people. There we will have a long-term statistical success. That is more important, right? Yeah, these, where we have Kanban is based on lean, where the basics of lean is this Kaizen, right? So how to do more with less? Why organizations are failing? What kind of wastages and inventory, untold stock? All these we are seeing, where these kind of problems will be addressed by Kaizen that was introduced by Masaki Imai, the author, who says everyone, every day, everywhere have to follow this to improve the productivity, right? So there are so many processes we follow, but at the end of the day, what is the outcome we are focusing, or what is the basic thing we need to correct, so that any process we follow, we will be in a better state in the product delivery. So one of the most notable feature of Kaizen is big results come from small changes accumulated over time. On a regular basis, we should go for a continuous improvement. And also we really have to understand, just engaging ourselves more time in office is not important. Whether are we really productive, that is more important. So he focuses and tells there are 3 killer viruses of productivity, where the Muda talks about different kind of wastages, and Mura talks about the variation, inconsistencies. Even that happens in one of the project where I supported the deployment team. We have 150 steps of deployment in Thomson Reuters. I was a scrum master come tech lead for the development track. I deviated and supported to the deployment team, where my client manager escalated like, I'm not paying Gnana for working on the support or the release management team. Instead, I'm paying him for to focus on the development stream. So it is a deviation which I did, but it is for the same project, but still it is a deviation, variation, right? And then Muri, even if we make people to strain for the last 3 days or 4 days, obviously their productivity will go low. That will impact, at a later stage of the project. So these are the 3 MUs of productivity: Muda, Mura, and Muri. 3 killer viruses of productivity. Most of the process comes from this basic. Even Lean is based on this 3M concept. So let us be focused on what is really important, right? Instead of just focusing on all flying colors of different certifications, right? So this is my final takeaway for this topic, where we clearly focus on all the small things, the basic core things in terms of the outcome or the basic principles to follow, whether you followed any disciplined agile delivery or say for any big principles. Make sure we understand the basic and core properly, so that we can have a successful delivery, product delivery. So thank you, team. Anybody having any questions or any points to discuss? Okay, so this is my background, where I have 22 years of experience, and I'm a certified program consultant, right? So Gnanasambandham is my LinkedIn ID. So I just gave the day-to-day example which I come across in over the period of time. Like I have 15 plus years in the agile environment, and overall 22 years of IT experience. Okay. Yeah.
So Prashant has a question. Prashant, you're unmuted.
Yeah,
Yeah, Prashant.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Gnana, for the wonderful insight. So I have one question, Gnana. You mentioned that customer engagement is very important, right, in the human-centric thinking. But sometimes you have faced a situation where we encounter the customer who are very rigid. They are not willing to listen. Then how do we handle such kind of customers?
See, it is not that only one person is available in the market to test our product, correct? So obviously, any new product, you are going for a financial product, any banking product, obviously you have to reach at least so many banking sectors to prove whether it is very secured and it can provide a reliable result to their expectation. Obviously, like 10 out of like some 6 out of 10 customers will reject your product. That is the reality, right? That is the sad reality. Unless we implement successfully and prove it exists in the market, then we can showcase it, right? Hope you got my point, right, Prashant? Yeah, that happens. You ask the pain of people in marketing, those who are in pharma sector, to convince even the doctors, right? So it should be proven. and people have to come with positive reviews. Even doctors, when they try any new medicine for any particular kind of disease, they will give feedback in their forums. So at the end of the day, if your focus is only on pushing the product to the customer, just focusing on revenue, we may not be successful. Instead, the end customer is the patient. Are we really curing the problem of the end customer? Right? That is where I am telling, right? Those who really focus on serving the people will be more successful than those who just focusing on the profits and numbers. Correct?
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Prasad.
And Prashant, just to add on, when we say customer, they are not the one whom we are working for as a IT team. Right? The actual end user who will be using the product, right? So as Gnanasambandham just mentioned, there will be like maybe thousands of customer, even if it is a startup. Right? So if not one customer, maybe definitely we can reach out to another customer, or maybe a different perspective is like, hey, what's the problem with this product? Like Gnanasambandham gave an example of like the detergent product, right? So he went, what if like once we reach out to the customer for the feedback, they said, hey, this is not at all beneficial, or it is spoiling our clothes, or it is not giving the result. Then we can ask the question, okay, if that is not being done, what else we can do, or what is it you are expecting? So we have different ways how we can engage the customer and how we can try to get the pointers or feedback, what could be relevant from their perspective. Right? Obviously, end of the day, they are the ones, once product is launched to the market, they are the ones who should be paying and start using our product. So getting the feedback from them is definitely helpful. If not one customer, yes, we can go to another customer or try to ask the question in a different way that might give a perspective.
Very much clear, Satish. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a breaking point. We need to get it, Prashant. Like, till you prove, no one will recognize you, right?
Agree.
Yeah. Thanks, Satish. Thanks, team, for listening to me. So, hope while developing products, you will put more thought process from the customer perspective already. And I just add some couple of points that helps you in a thinking, to saving the customer better. Yeah. Thanks, Satish.
Any more questions? Okay. So if no questions, we can go ahead. Thanks, Gnanasambandham, for
Thanks,
your wonderful
Satish.
session.
Thanks for this opportunity, and have a good weekend to all.
Definitely. So we would like to issue a digital certificate for you. We will share it over your email address. So thanks
Thank you
for
so
taking
much.
your time and giving the participants a quick high-level overview of what's the human-centered design of the design thinking thought process is all about. Thanks for the participants as well for bringing up questions. Okay.